Welcome to SF Commercial Property Conversations with Bruce Bean, where Bay Area investments meet expert insights. Get ready to unlock the strategies of commercial real estate success.
So today we have Cyndi Peach with us, and Cyndi, it's great to have you. You are a operator, and meaning that you own and buy and sell commercial strip centers, basically. So we'll get into how you got to that point based on the fact that you worked at Intel for 20 years. So Cyndi, it's great to have you.
Oh, great to be here, Bruce. I appreciate you having me on your podcast.
So give us a little history of how you got into what you're doing right now.
As you mentioned, I worked for Intel Corporation. I will say it's 30 years that I put time in there. But when I first started out, we had what we call the dot-com burst in the early 2000s. And it kind of was a wake-up call for my partner and I. We decided that it was, we needed other income streams. And we thought that just relying upon our W-2 was not the way to go. So we jumped into real estate, and like most people, they would do residential rentals. No, we went big. We found there was a gap for housing in our county. So we created a construction business and started building spec houses. The timing we thought was good because there was a huge need for it. But at the same time, we saw interest rates climbing, a lot of financial hocus pocus going on. Luckily, we were at the point where we were on our last house. We had just finished it. We were able to actually be creative and think outside of the box by putting it into an Airbnb, which didn't exist at the time. It was VRBO. And we were able to, cover that because, carrying costs are a big thing, and that can be a killer, and especially in construction. So we were able to do that. And as things recovered, we were able to sell that last one. We pivot from there and went into some small multifamily opportunities. And we came across, we were talking to one of our brokers, and he brought up a retail strip center. And we had never done anything like that. We're not familiar with the asset at all. Back in those days, there wasn't a whole lot out there as you see today on YouTube with information. I don't think YouTube was really even around at that time. And so we had to go. So it was, on the job training. We did the numbers, we did the underwriting, we figured things out, we went through the stuff. And what we liked about it is we were still working our W-2 jobs. We could drive by it every day. It was a neighborhood strip center. We drive by on the way home. You can see it. It's nearby. So that's how we started in the retail strip centers. We had it for a couple of years. We were able to fill the vacancies and sell it at a huge profit. And we said, hey, this is great. We like retail. It's a lot different than dealing with residential rentals or multifamily. It's a different model. It has its pros and cons, but we felt the pros to it outweighed what we were seeing, the cons in it. So that's where we started out that. And that was about 12 years ago. And we haven't looked back since.
And you've done 6 or 7 retail centers since then.
Yeah, we've closed on 7 complete deals and exits on it. We're in the process right now of finalizing one that we bought in Wisconsin in 2022, March of 2022. We're actually putting our final tenant in. We signed the contract, the lease agreement last month, and they'll be moving in. And so we're looking to put that one up. So we were actually beat our goal was to hold it for 5 years and build up that value. We were able to do it in 4. So we're in the process of looking for some additional properties because we're going to go out by several this time.
And for the first time in this kind of series, you're looking for investors.
Yeah, we are looking for investors. We were doing this all on our own. And that's, and it's been great. It's, one side of it, you keep all the profits, but the other side, but the other flip side, the other side of it is that you can't scale, and we want to scale this out. We feel confident in our business strategy and our model that we've built out, and our partners. That was a big thing, building up that network. We have partners between property management, leasing agencies, and commercial brokers throughout the nation. And we have certain target markets that we're looking at. So we know that we've partnered right. We've got the right business strategy, and we can go and repeat this. on a regular cadence. So that's what we're looking to do.
So give us a little clue as to what sort of demographic or what sort of market you're looking at to try and purchase a retail center in.
Yeah, we look at we look at a growing market economy. We want something that has our buy boxes, service related type of tenants in it, a mix with national and local businesses, because local businesses provide services to that local community and they know it very well. We also look for something that's in a near or around, not anchored, but near or around a busy commercial corridor. We like secondary markets more than the urban markets. Urban markets tend to be challenging. There's a lot of chain, additional costs. So we like something a little bit more stable into suburb areas, I'd call them, that we look at for those. So those are some of the criteria that we use in buying it on our buy box.
Yeah. Okay. So you finished, or you're about to finish, this 4-year transaction and move into a new one, and investors potentially can work with you on buying a new product so you can scale to a little bit larger purchasing mode, so to speak. So that it sounds like you've got the formula figured out at this point.
Yes, we feel we have. We've got a 43% IRR that we've had over the last 12 years. So even going through, some of the challenges in the last, 12 years of the market, there's been ups and downs. So we feel that we have something that's repeatable and we can go out and do it again.
No, that's fantastic. So you're looking, are you financing these purchases?
We have been financing them. Right now, we do work with certain mortgage brokers and banks. A lot of times we'll work with regional banks or local banks because we actually have gotten better rates that way. And the other thing is that they double check our underwriting because they're very familiar with the area. So if a local bank won't lend on it, we know that there's a problem that maybe we didn't catch in the underwriting, something that's coming about. So those are kind of some of the things we do. But we actually have good banking relationships, so we get a pretty good rate, not the stated mortgage rate that you see out there, but of course not as nice as the bigger operators, but we do get a break on that.
Yeah, no, I mean, the best kept secret is that mortgage rates are really supply and demand, not necessarily driven by the interest rates at the Fed level. So
exactly, yeah.
So they can vary a little bit depending on who's buying or who's lending and so forth. So anyway,
correct.
That's great to hear. So what do you think? We talked earlier about how the crystal ball is a little foggy right now, but what's your sort of feeling about the future at this point?
Well, I keep on shaking it, and it's got snowflakes. But but I would say for where we're at in our line for retail strip centers, I think something that's valuable is that there are businesses out there that everybody said Amazon is coming in, e-commerce is destroying business, but I don't really see that. I see that in the big box area. So the strip, big malls, we're seeing that, and there's a lot of vacant space there. But the sweet spot for a lot of these areas is that they don't need 10,000 square feet or 8,000 square feet. So I think that for retail, we're not building new developments. There are some being built, I will say that, but there is not a big, huge development right now with retail strip centers. There's a lot of repurposing with the larger strip super malls or malls out there. There's a revamping of the older strip centers. There's a lot of guys out there. I think Strip Mall Guy is one of them that he does that. He'll go and revamp a whole center, bring it up to date, update it all, and do the facade and all that. And it's kind of his lane of expertise. Because of the cost of construction right now, we're not seeing that development. So there's a lot of opportunity, and there's a lot of new businesses, national tenants and local businesses that need space. And so there's a great need for that. So I think for retail, it's pretty solid. For the rest of commercial real estate, I think there's opportunities everywhere. I think the biggest one that we'll see that's going to suffer a little bit moving forward is multifamily, because there was huge run on all of that. There's a lot of players in there. There's some still some bad debt out there, some concerns with certain operators. So multifamily right now, I'm kind of stepping back away. I personally invested, but even as an investor myself, I'm stepping back from that. I love industrial in certain areas, and I think with the kick up of manufacturing, if we continue to see this growth, I think there's great opportunity in that area. And then hospitality, I'm still shaking the crystal ball on that one. I don't know what we'll see on that one.
Yeah, that one is really up in the air, I think. So I'm curious though, what's your average size center that you buy, and then what's the average size maybe of the tenants in there?
The number of tenants.
Yeah.
So I like. I have smaller ones. Like I have one that's 8,000 square feet, and it's So I have it's about 88,000. 7,900 right around there, and I'll have 4 tenants in that one. But for our larger ones, usually I find the sweet spot to be around 28 to 50,000 square feet, and depending on the area, we usually play under the 10 million, 12 million marker because we're not competing with the larger guys there, and the small mom and pops are in the lower part of that area. So that's kind of our sweet spot. And that usually gets you around 25 to 50, sometimes even more than that, depending on the area. And we usually have right now, kind of can average, I look at about, depending on, the tenant, we're usually around anywhere between 1,700 to 2,400 square feet average per tenant. So we did the math on that. There's 10 and 2,400 square feet, 10 tenants that we'd have in a strip center.
What's just out of curiosity, what's the largest space you've had to fill?
As in a vacancy?
Yeah.
So I found that I had to fill. See, that's a good question. I'm trying to remember. I think it was over 4,000 square feet on one, and well, actually, it was more than that because. We bought it with 4,000 square feet, and we planned to demise that and split that into 2, which we did. But in the meantime, I had another tenant move out, so I ended up with probably about 8,000 square feet.
Oh, wow.
So I had to fill that, and that's the Wisconsin one. We just got that done.
Did you end up splitting the other space down also?
Actually, I had another tenant take over that space.
Oh,
so
cool.
They expanded, which worked out great. And then the other 2 I demised, so that worked out great.
That's fantastic. Well, okay. I think I want to talk to you again in 3 to 6 months and just kind of check in and see how the market is going and seeing how your sale of the Wisconsin property went and see if you have bought something new since then. So.
Oh, okay. Well, that'd be great. Yeah, I'd love to provide you an update.
That'd be great. Well, let's keep in touch. Hold on here. But in the meantime, where can people find you, Cyndi?
So the easiest way to reach me, my email is showing up there on the screen. If you don't have time to write that big, long thing down, you can also just type in invest with Peach. And it's all one word, investwithpeach.com. It'll take you straight to our website, and there's a contact form there. You can reach out to me, and love to hear if you have questions about what we're doing, interested in learning more, or you're curious on what kind of returns you can see in a retail strip center investment.
That's fantastic. Well, let's keep in touch because I want to see what you're at the pulse of the market here in terms of smaller retail strip centers. So I want to see what's going on there in the future here.
Great. I'm sure I'll have great news for you, Bruce.
Okay, that's good. That's the best think I've heard today. That is great. That is fantastic.
That's a wrap on today's journey through the SF commercial real estate scene. Ready to share your story? Visit sfcommercialconversations.com/guest. Your insights could lead the next conversation.